salmon. Now we octopus.
Yeah. Like if you subscribe, you're like, oh.
Sweater, his new jeans.
Adrian loafers.
Yup.
Yeah. Anyways.
Are you ready to try fried shrimp?
I'm not one for shrimp, but I'll eat it.
Wow. We are waiting for Joe to get his Jamba Juice, and I just wanted to say Joe is the king of, I don't know, like just eating at random places in New York City. Because right now we're sort of underground a little bit, and it's all these beverage shops in the station, and I know they're all fine technically, but just something about it being underground with the scent of Subway is kind of unappealing to me.
It's Jamba. You can't go wrong with Jamba.
And I know I'm gonna take some girlfriend tax. So
White gummy bear, best Jamba flavor.
this is a really cold day. So different from the high 50s from yesterday. So cute.
Movie review time.
I just wanted to talk about The Brutalist. We saw that recently on Friday. I went in not really knowing what it was about because Joe really wanted to see it, even though I found out later he didn't really know what it was about. But anyway, The Brutalist is about the architecture style brutalist, I guess. It's a fictional character and his style is brutalism, and it was really interesting. It was 3.5 hours long. There was even an intermission, which I've never experienced before at a movie theater, and it was really intense. Like the whole time it was really engaging, and as someone perfectly said, that they can't believe that a 3.5 hour movie had better pacing than a lot of like regular. There were some scenes that were
Brutal.
really like whoa. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, where is this going next? And yep, there were a lot of interesting things to watch. So, and I really enjoyed it. And it was sort of in preparation for the Oscar party movie?
Oscar watch party. Oscars watch parties.
Yeah. Even though we haven't seen a lot of movies, but I would just vote for it in every category.
What about Wild Robot?
I saw Wild Robot last night too at home, and Joe and I both teared up at multiple scenes.
You were sobbing, and I was really holding in a cry, but I shed tears.
But that's because I'm on my period, so. Yeah, and then Joe and I had a long debate about which movie, Wild Robot or Flow. which one should win the Oscar for Best Animation, and I would vote Flow all the way. And Joe Joe is torn, but because he had an emotional reaction to Wild Robot, he thinks that should be it. But let me tell you why. I think both that have storylines are very similar. It's like parental figures, sacrificing something for someone you love, protecting them, unexpected relationships between animals, you know, that shouldn't be friends because, you know, they're each other's food on the food chain and stuff like that. So it's very similar. But I vote for Flow because it didn't need dialogue. It stuck true to the nature of animals, like how they reacted and stuff like that. Like they didn't need to be humanized and you could still empathize with them. And the music was really great as well. And even though Wild Robot was amazing, I just feel like we have had that style of animation for so many years and the storyline is not that new, you know? And it was like cute and all, but Flow is just like unique in every way. Like the style of animation is like, I feel like I could touch the water. Yeah, and Joe's nodding now, but he was really
It's true.
Okay, let me do you.
There were a lot of parallels between both movies. Like you just said, the idea of sacrificing your needs for others who you normally would not associate with. But the fact that Wild Robot was able to communicate and appeal more to the human experience and like the humanity of of sacrifice, of like forgiveness, of love when you didn't have it, and like the idea of yearning for family and friendship that you didn't have growing up, but finally having that, it was just way more effectively communicated in Wild Robot. Not to mention the soundtrack was great. Both movies had great soundtracks. The voice acting was incredible. You know, it's kind of unfair to compare voice actors because Flo didn't have any, but it did make a huge difference for the viewer, which is why I got more emotional in that movie than in Flo. But, you know, I have to give the edge to Wild Robot. As much as the visuals and the flow were just stunning, the visuals in Wild Robot were also stunning. So I'm gonna ultimately give just the slightest edge to Wild Robot.
Okay, but then also, we don't know what the Oscars like rubric is for best animation, right? Because we didn't look it up.
No, we don't
So
know.
we came up with our own of like creativity and storyline or something, animation style, originality,
soundtrack. I guess soundtrack.
And for me, I give it all to Flo. And Joe also gave most of that to Flo too, no?
I'm more equal. Because Wild Robot had very cinematic, like powerful music too. Flow was like a little bit more like ethereal, more immersive. I don't know how to describe it, but they were different kind of genres, and I don't know.
Babe, don't we just love eating in diners, even though we don't do it that much?
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about how nostalgic and like old school it feels, because we love romanticizing ourselves into movies, sort of.
It is the quintessential New York experience that you will no longer have in a few months.
True.